At the baby shower, my sister yelled, "Leave and don't come back, you and your kids not welcome here." This followed her daughter flinging cake at my son. I grinned and replied, "All right, but I'll take some others along." When she noticed who had departed with me, she shrieked. Have you ever felt like you were just invisible? Like your entire life was a backstage pass to someone else's show, paying everyone else's way, and then BM. One moment, a little frosting on your kid's shirt, and your entire world, everything you thought you knew about family, just shatters. It did for me. And what happened next? Well, that's when things really got interesting. My name is Brad. I'm 34, a dad of 2 incredible kids, and yeah, I'm a firefighter. Still double knot my boots out of habit. I'm the oldest son, the default problem solver. The guy who shows up with a wrench, a spare tire, and a calm voice. I'm not flashy. I'm the background guy in the photos, the one holding a trash bag while everyone else smiles. Then there's my sister, Hannah. 3 years younger, and the golden one. She just glows in every room. Somehow, she always ends up in the center of the story, even if I was the one who started it. Our parents, bless their hearts, made it so obvious without saying much. If Hannah got an A, it was talent. If I did, pure dumb luck. If she changed her major, it was brave. If I switched stations after a brutal season, after seeing things no one should see, it was me. Not being a team player. I'm not bitter. At least, that's what I told myself for years. I just learned to blend in, to carry extra chairs, to be reliable, to not need much. But last Saturday that, not needing much, ran out. It happened during the baby shower at my mom's house. Pink balloons were everywhere. The banner screamed, "Welcome, little star." The kitchen smelled like vanilla frosting and that specific, comforting scent of Costco rotisserie chicken. I came with my kids, Eli, who's 8 and wears his baseball cap backwards like it's part of his skull, and Maya, 5, all elbows and boundless curiosity. We brought a diaper cake. Eli saw it online, insisted we try. We stacked it, taped it like a school project, then stood back and just laughed at our lopsided masterpiece. Wow! Hannah floated in, like a TV host gracing us with her presence. You really made that? Yep, Eli said, beaming with pride. It's a cake made of diapers. Adorable, she said. But her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Then she drifted away, back to her friends who smelled like eucalyptus and new credit cards. I spent the next hour doing what I always do, taking plates, pouring punch, keeping my kids away from my mother's precious porcelain figurines. I watched my mom, Chris, move around like a general, hugging Hannah's friends, whispering orders, totally ignoring me unless she needed a bag of ice from the garage. Brad, the cooler. Brad, the extra napkins. Then it happened. Fast. Someone yelled, "Cake time!" Everyone crowded into the dining room. A tall, perfect frosting tower with a tiny plastic moon on top. Hannah's daughter, Ava, 6 years old, precise ponytail. Hannah's eyes stood on a chair to get a better view. Eli moved closer. He's shorter, quieter. He just wanted to see. Ava squinted at him and snapped, "Don't push!" But he hadn't. "It's fine," I said gently, trying to defuse it. "Lots of room." The first slice went to Hannah, to feed the bump. Everyone cheered. Eli leaned on his toes to watch the knife glide through. Then, without a word, Ava grabbed a fistful of cake, turned, and launched it straight at Eli's chest. Smack! A stunned silence filled the room. My son's face crumpled, folding into that tight, hot breath look kids get right before they cry. "Hey!" I said, stepping forward. "Ava, that's not—" Hannah's voice cut the air, sharp as a blade. "Brad, control your kid!" "My kid didn't do anything." "You always say that!" She gestured, like a judge condemning us. "You and your kids bring chaos. Get out of here and don't come back. You and your kids just go. You're not welcome here." The room held its breath. Eli wiped frosting off his shirt with slow, shaking hands. Maya pressed into my leg, trembling. I waited. I waited for my mom to say something. Anything. She didn't. She was watching everyone else. Reading the room like a PR person managing a crisis. Something clicked inside me then. Not anger. Something cleaner. I smiled. Not a big smile, just enough to say I'd heard every single word. Okay, I said. But I'll take some others with me. Hannah actually laughed. Who would leave with you? I looked around. I saw who was already shifting, who had their keys in hand, who had been quietly waiting for someone to give them permission. I didn't ask them then. I just picked up Maya, took Eli's hand, and we walked to the door, through that narrow path people make when they don't want to be touched. The first trigger had been pulled. Everything after would feel inevitable. It didn't start with cake, not really. It started years ago, with small favors that slowly, insidiously, turned into bills with due dates and crushing interest. I joined the department at 22. My first real fire took out a kitchen and half a roof. We pulled a teenager from a smoke-clouded hallway, carried him down 2 flights, and I shook for an hour after we cleared. The captain said the shaking meant I was still human. I went home to my studio apartment that smelled like laundry detergent and heat dust, sat on the floor, and just stared at my boots. I'd never been more certain of anything in my life. Around that same time, Hannah was bouncing through internships in marketing. Our parents threw her a party every time she changed jobs. She's exploring, Mom would say, beaming. When I passed probation and finally got promoted, I got a text reminder. Bring chairs to the next barbecue. The money part started subtly. Hannah called late one night. My car is making a scraping noise. Where are you? I asked, instantly on alert. Old Town. If I drive slow, it's fine. I drove across the city, found her idling with a wheel barely hanging on. We waited 2 hours for a tow truck, my hoodie around her shoulders. She scrolled on her phone the whole time. Can you cover it? She said softly, when the guy quoted the repair. How much? 800. I'll pay you back Friday. She never did. When I brought it up, gently, she laughed. Oh my God, you're keeping a spreadsheet? You're so dramatic. Then came Mom's calls. Your father's back went out. We need help with the deck, and the medical bills for that MRI. How much? I'd asked, the familiar dread coiling in my gut. Just a couple hundred to float us. It became a rhythm. Payday, then a call. I told myself it was temporary. I started picking up overtime, holiday shifts nobody wanted. I stopped buying coffee out and packed cold pasta in a plastic container that always stained orange. When I met Elise, my ex, we were both tired people who just made each other laugh. We married fast because the world felt urgent, and we found comfort in each other's exhaustion. The kids came, and everything reordered itself. I stopped trying to impress my parents, and instead tried to be the dad I needed when I was a kid. I showed up to soccer, made pancakes, learned how to braid badly. Hannah was my maid of honor and somehow turned her toast into a pitch for her new business. We're launching an event brand, she chirped into the mic. Imagine your special day, elevated. The next day, she sent me an invoice. Invest me for coordination time. I paid it. I told myself it was a misunderstanding. When our apartment flooded, we crashed with my parents for 2 weeks. Mom gave Hannah the guest room, a beautiful space, and put my kids and me in the basement, right next to the treadmill. Hannah needs to rest, she explained. She has a big client. When Maya caught a cold from the damp air down there, Mom told me to be more careful. Last year, the station cut training funds. They offered specialized classes out of pocket. I really wanted the rope rescue certification. It's not glamorous, but on highway pileups it matters. The class fee was $1,200. I mentioned it to my parents in passing while we were fixing their leaky sink. Mom's response? Maybe that money would be better used helping family. Hannah's business is scaling. Cash is tight. You can get your little certificate later. Little certificate. I almost said something. I swallowed it. The requests kept coming, always in the form of guilt. Brad, you always know a guy. Translation, pay for it. Brad, can you put it on your card? We'll settle up when the refund comes. Translation, there is no refund. Brad, you're so responsible. Translation, you won't say no. Elise and I split 2 years ago. It was civil. Our schedules and exhaustion had just stretched us thin, and neither of us wanted to be cruel. We co-parent well. The kids are with me 60% of the time. My station rotates, so we juggle. I don't complain. I like making dinner and doing the bedtime pilgrimage of. One more story. Money-wise, I wasn't drowning, but I was ankle-deep in everyone else's water. I carried a running tally in my head. I hated myself for keeping it. The car repair, the phone bill I temporarily added to my plan, the interest on Dad's credit card I paid off to stop the incessant calls. The deposit on Hannah's pop-up experience because the venue required a firefighter to sign an occupancy form. And wouldn't it look weird if you didn't support me? She'd said. I gave Elise the full picture one night after the kids were asleep. She listened, then asked the question I'd been avoiding for years. And what does Brad get? Peace, I said weakly. She shook her head. No, you get emptier. That hit me hard. When the baby shower invite came, the group chat blew up. Pink, pink, pink. Brad, bring a folding table. Brad, can you swing by Party Palace at lunch? I said yes to the table. I said I couldn't do Party Palace. I had training. Mom replied. Hannah would do it for you. I typed and erased 10 responses. I packed the table. I set my jaw. I told the kids it'd be quick, and we'd get tacos after. We arrived, and I was immediately a staff member. Brad the ice. Brad the balloons. Brad the trash. I did it because people were watching, and my kids were right there. I didn't want to teach them that we only help when it's noticed. But the cake changed something. Not just the frosting on Eli's shirt. It was the way Hannah looked at me, like I was ruining her perfect day by simply breathing near it. It was Mom's deafening silence, the way she scanned the room for allies before choosing a side. It was Ava's carelessness, which isn't her fault because kids don't invent hierarchies. They learn them. When Hannah said, "You and your kids aren't welcome," she was saying the quiet part loud. She was voicing the rule I'd been obeying without even realizing it. I was welcome as a tool, not as a person. And tools don't bring children. I walked out of that house with my kids and a calm I didn't recognize. My phone buzzed on the porch. A text from Mom. Don't be dramatic. Come back and apologize so Hannah can move on. We got in the truck. Maya sniffed. Eli picked at the frosting on his shirt like he could undo it. Dad, Eli said, his voice small. Did we do something wrong? I looked at him in the rearview mirror and told him the truth. No, bud. We didn't. That night, I washed the frosting out of Eli's shirt at the sink and watched pink water coil down the drain. I stared at my hands long enough that the skin wrinkled. I realized I wasn't calm. I was done. The next morning, my phone was full of messages. 21 from Mom, 3 from Dad, 2 from Hannah, 1 from an aunt I hadn't seen in months, and a Facebook tag from a cousin, simply saying, "Family is everything." Mom's messages were a torrent. "We need to talk. Hannah is very upset. You embarrassed us." Hannah's read, "If you want to be in my child's life, you fix this now." Dad's, finally, "Your mother is beside herself. Call her." I made pancakes. I texted Elise the situation because co-parenting means sharing the hard stuff. Baby shower drama. Cake incident. Hannah told us to leave. Taking the kids to the park to cool off. She sent back. Proud of you for leaving. Call if you need backup. At noon, Mom called again. I answered. Bradley, she said, in that careful voice she uses when she's already decided the outcome. We're having a family sit-down tonight. 6 o'clock. You will apologize to your sister and to Ava. Ava threw the cake. She's 6. You are a grown man. My voice was low, steady. Silence. Then, stop being dramatic. Your sister is pregnant. Stress isn't good for her. I know, I said. That's why we left. You left because you like making scenes. I looked at Eli on the swing, pumping his legs like he could scrape the sky. I'm not coming to apologize for my son getting cake thrown at him. If you don't come, Mom's voice hardened, don't expect help from us again. Financially or otherwise. There it was. The bill. All those little favors I was supposed to be repaying forever. I'm not asking for help, I said. You always do, she scoffed. I thought of the roof I'd patched, the cards I'd paid, the tire rotations, the deposits, the invoices I'd swallowed because family. No, I said quietly. I always give it. Brad, don't rewrite history. I won't, I said. I'll write a new chapter. At 5:55, I parked on their street. Elise had offered to take the kids, but Eli had wanted to come. I want to tell Ava I didn't push her. He'd insisted. I'd shaken my head. This isn't for you, bud. Elise took them for ice cream. I walked up alone. They were waiting in the living room like a tribunal. Mom on the edge of the couch, Dad with that folded arms look that means he'll speak once, to echo whatever Mom says. Hannah was perched like a model for modernit. Why fashion? Ava sat cross-legged, tablet glow on her face. Mom started. We are a family that apologizes. Great, I said. I'll wait. Hannah rolled her eyes. God, Brad. Ava, I said gently. Did you throw cake at Eli? Ava glanced at Hannah. It was an accident. You scooped it and threw it, I said, still calm. That's not an accident. Don't interrogate a child. Mom snapped. I'm asking for honesty. Dad cleared his throat. You upset your sister in her condition. I took a deep breath. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to set boundaries. Hannah snorted. Here we go. I looked at each of them. I'm not the fixer anymore. I won't pay your bills. I won't drop everything. I won't let my kids be treated like props or problems. If there's an emergency, a real one, call 911. Otherwise, handle it. Mom's eyes flashed. Don't threaten us. This isn't a threat. I kept my voice even. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. Hannah leaned forward. Closure for what? For you not being the favorite. For me pretending that didn't hurt, I said. For letting you use me because it was easier than saying no. That ends now. Fine, Mom said, standing. Then understand the consequences. She pulled a folder from the coffee table, like she'd rehearsed this moment. Since you brought up money, there are totals. She slid a paper across. We keep records. I glanced down. A neat list of dinners, holidays, support during marriage, utilities from the basement stay. All inflated. All highlighted. A sum at the bottom that would make a good down payment on a house. You want me to pay you for parenting? I asked, a bitter laugh escaping me. We're asking you, Mom said, to recognize what we've done for you. To balance the scales after everything you've taken. Everything I've taken. I just laughed again, a shorter sound this time, with no humor at all. Hannah crossed her legs. If you won't apologize or pay, then stay away until you're ready to be part of the family again. Okay, I said. Mom blinked. Okay, what? Okay, I'll stay away. The room went very still. They expected a negotiation. They expected me to beg or bargain. Instead, I took my old house key from my keyring and set it on the table. I'll send you an itemized list of what I've covered over the years. You can keep your list. We'll call it even. You don't have proof, Mom said, almost a whisper. I don't need it, I said. I need peace. Hannah stood. Get out. I was already planning on it. As I reached the door, I added one more boundary, because sometimes the most useful tool I own is a sentence. Don't contact my kids without going through me or Elise. Any messages to them will be blocked. You can't do that, Mom hissed, disbelief etched on her face. I can, I said. And I am. I left. My hands didn't shake. I felt taller, in a way that had nothing to do with posture. The calls started immediately. 37 missed by morning. If a number didn't leave a voicemail, I didn't call back. The voicemails stacked in a little staircase of manipulation. Mom, we can't believe you're taking things this far. Mom, later, your sister is crying. Is that what you wanted? Shame on you. Dad, you embarrassed your mother. Call her. Then they pivoted to logistics, like I'd broken a contract. Mom texted. Return the folding table. I bought it 10 years ago. It was mine. Then the ladder in the garage is your father's. It wasn't. Then we expect a written apology to Ava. I blocked her for an hour, just to breathe. I made a spreadsheet. Not to shove in their faces, but to steal back reality from the fog. Line items: $800 tire/wheel repair, Hannah. $312 phone plan add-on for 6 months, Hannah. $1,900 dad's card payoff to stop 26.99% interest. $450 deposit on pop-up event venue. $600 plumber when mom didn't want to wait 2 days. $1,200 rope rescue class I didn't take because guilt. Next to each, a date. Next to some, a memory I wanted to remember if I ever started doubting myself. She laughed and called you dramatic. He said, "You're a good son." She promised Friday. I hit some. The number made my stomach drop. I closed the laptop and went outside to the little patch of yard I keep purposeful. A grill, 2 folding chairs, a tomato plant that stubbornly survives kids' soccer balls. I called Elise. Are you okay? She asked, concern in her voice. I'm not spiraling, I said. Which feels new. Good. She paused. What do you need? Space, I said. And tacos. We kept our schedule. I took the kids to school, drilled smoke alarm escape plans into their heads in a way that felt playful. We made a poster for family fire safety and stuck it on the fridge. I went to shift, and I lifted more than usual, like pushing iron could squeeze out old habits. Hannah posted on Instagram a carousel titled, Family Over Everything, featuring her bump, Ava kissing it, Mom lighting a candle, Dad holding a pink onesie. The caption: When people show you who they are, believe them. Protecting my peace for my baby girl. I stopped myself from reading the comments, but caught a few. So strong. Cut off the negativity. Mom's first. 2 days later, my Aunt Sam, Dad's younger sister, called from a number I didn't recognize. I left the shower with you, she said without preamble. You didn't see me. I took your side. I blinked. You did? I did, she affirmed. And so did your cousin Matt and his wife. They're tired of Hannah's production. Your mom is furious at me. That's fine. I have my own house. I sat on the back steps and let that settle. Thank you, I managed. Don't thank me, she said. Just keep your boundary. That night I got screenshots. A family group chat, one I'd been in, now renamed without me. Planning a consequence. The plan: freeze me out of holidays. Tell extended family I'd lashed out at a child. Imply I'm unstable from the divorce. Mention money issues. The usual. I didn't engage. I wrote a single message to the wider family, not the curated inner circle. Hey, I won't be attending family functions for the foreseeable future. Please contact me directly if you need anything urgent. Otherwise, I'm focusing on my kids and work. I won't discuss details, but facts. At the shower, my son had cake thrown at him. We left after being told we weren't welcome. I won't tolerate my kids being treated with disrespect. That's all. I silenced the thread. I made dinner. I told Eli that when someone throws cake at you, you ask for a napkin and a boundary. The next morning, Dad showed up at my doorstep. He didn't text. He just knocked like cops do. I answered, because avoiding forever makes small men into monsters. He looked older. That hurt more than I expected. We need to talk, he said. Okay, I said, stepping outside. I didn't invite him in. It wasn't about punishment. It was about clarity. You've upset your mother, he began. I'm not a thermostat for her feelings, I said. She can regulate. He frowned. You're being cruel. I'm being specific, I said. I won't apologize for my son getting humiliated. I won't fund Hannah's life. I won't pretend. He shifted, uncomfortable. You owe us for raising you, he said, like he'd practiced it. I nodded once. Okay, if that's the math you want to do, let's do all of it. I pulled my phone out and scrolled to the spreadsheet. Here's what I covered in the last 10 years. I read a few lines. He stopped me at Dad's credit card. He stared at the porch rail. We never asked you to keep track, he said quietly. You didn't have to. The bank did. He blew out a breath. Your mother won't bend. You know that. I'm not a contortionist, I countered. He almost smiled. You were always a smartass. The smile faded. She wants to know if you'll still co-sign for Hannah's business line. They need leverage for a new lease. I laughed. A short sound, with no humor. That's a no, Brad. No, I said. If they ask again, the answer will be no again. He rubbed his jaw. Then this will get ugly. It's already ugly, I said. I'm just not looking away anymore. He left without shaking my hand. I watched him go and felt 16 and 34 at the same time. Over the next week, the temperature dropped. My mother sent one last message. Until you apologize, you're cut off. I stared at it. Then I laughed, because I finally understood. You can't cut off someone who stopped drinking from your well. People drifted. My cousin who always needed a couch stopped needing mine. An uncle who wanted me to take a look at the water heater booked a plumber. A family friend who assumed free babysitting for just 3 hours found a teenager down the street. The world turned without me pushing it. On shift, I pulled a kid out of a minivan at a 3-car pileup. He clung to me while the captain cleared his mom from the passenger side. His face was sticky with blood and Gatorade, and he kept saying, "Don't leave." I said, "I won't." And I didn't. Later, back at the station, I sat on the bench in the bay and cried, in the way men cry when the clatter stops. Not because of my family. Not exactly. But because sometimes you hold too much. Other people's fires, other people's piles of dishes, other people's needs. And when you finally put it all down, your hands don't know what to do. I started a new routine. After drop-off, I ran 2 miles. I packed real lunches. On my days off, I took a rope rescue course with my own money and no one's permission. Eli and I built a birdhouse that leaned and still worked. Maya and I painted our mailbox with stars because she said our house needed to look like our house, not a catalog. 2 Saturdays after the shower, I bumped into Aunt Sam, the one who called, at the farmer's market. She hugged me in the middle of the tomato aisle. You look lighter, she observed. I feel. I searched for the word. Untangled. Good, she said. Stay that way. The invitation stopped. The guilt slowed. But the silence had a new shape. Not empty. Open. A month later, an email. Family update. No text, just Hannah's newborn. Mom's hand. Dad crowded by pride and regret. I closed it. Went outside. Eli played catch with the fence. Maya drew stars. I tied my boots. Blue easy sky. I didn't reply. No posts. I made tacos and laughed at an onion joke. I'm done auditioning for my family. I won't teach my kids to swallow disrespect. My piece isn't their stage. A real emergency? I'll show up with boots. Otherwise, no more being used. No co-signing, no covering, no explanations to people who won't listen. Not anger, just maintenance. Shut off the gas, keep the air clean. Choose tacos over guilt. No revenge, just small choices that protect our crooked, beautiful little life. I wish them well. Let Mom drop the ledger. Let Dad bend toward fair. And may my niece learn cake is for plates. My name is Brad. Firefighter. Dad. Not a tool or a wallet. I have limits and a door that locks. I won't let blood make my kids small. No past invoices on my future. I'm not returning to a table where love means debt. I've got my own table. What about you? Have you ever had to choose between family and your own peace? How did you navigate that line? I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments below.